That's how our health centre started. Got sick of seeing people turning up with sick kids, with no Medicare. Took a student on placement. You're starting the first health service for asylum seekers in Australia. Go. And so it was in 2002. But everything we've done, this holistic place, it doesn't actually exist anywhere in the world, actually, except here in Footscray. 30 different programs across every single discipline, from an innovation hub that seeks to end global poverty for refugees, to a one-stop shop holistic centre with your own health centre, food banks, aid programs, counselling services, psychiatry clinics, immunisation clinics, women's and Bub's health clinics, you name it, it all happens. But it all happens for a simple idea, which is innovation is not, I'm watching all these people building labels and names, and they're calling themselves futurists, and this, it's an amazing wankfest going on in this space right now. And at the heart of it is a really simple idea. Innovation is about seeing human suffering and then sitting there and going, what can my imagination imagine? And at the center of that, working with your community as experts, as extraordinary entrepreneurial, resilient people. The true innovators are the refugees I work with. Are there more innovative entrepreneurial people than them? To get through and to survive, to get to this country of ours. So my starting point is going, my position of strength is my own community. And my place of innovation and change is in the ability to continue to take risks. To never be afraid to take risks. People are so terrified of failing, losing face, dropping the ball. But at the heart of that is you can never, ever, ever fail. You can never, ever fail if you're actually investing in what is right. And if you're actually investing in people. You can't. Perspective is so critical in leadership. When you sit there and see the amazing economic and social and political and cultural capital you'll have in any space that you work in, you sit there and go, well, what if we atomize that together and just go bang? We can do anything at any time. There are no barriers. There are no borders to what we are capable of. And imagine going into work each day with that sense of purpose. That is that I can create anything. I can change anything. Everything is movable. Everything is malleable. Nothing is static. And all it actually takes is an idea, people around you that share your passion and vision. Select wisely the people that you work with or the people that you recruit. Don't work for places that have a beautiful brochure, but behind closed doors are constantly compromising what is right to appease funders and governments. Go and make trouble. Go and make trouble. I love the fact that we're one of the most hated organizations in the country by this government. And yet it's our ear they still seek out for guidance. You can be both. You can be credible and authentic, and you can actually tell it like it is. You can actually do what is right. We're only going to get change if we have future leaders that are not scared of losing their jobs, that are not scared of making mistakes, that are not scared of creating controversy, that are not scared to do a really simple thing, which is tell the truth and do what is right at all times. And it's about keeping your perspective and your grounding around that. What struggle do you actually have in this room? None of you have any struggle. Yeah? You know, I sit there and I think of my parents. My dad left school at 9, my mum at 12. My dad, after 52 years of working like a dog, 2 years later was dead from probably the asbestos in which he worked in those factories. They struggled. They gave up everything so I could do anything that I wanted, along with my sister. My grandparents were refugees. They struggled. The people I work with every day, it is life and death for them. They struggle. What do I have as a struggle as a leader? What's my struggle? What's my great risk? What have I got to lose? Nothing but a bit of pride, a bit of ego, a few kicks to the head. So if you're going to transform and change things, you have to aspire to greatness. You have to be proud of where you come from. You have to keep perspective. You have to keep nurturing yourself with other people that share that passion and vision. You need to be at peace with the fact that people are going to be disappointed in you. You need to be visionary. And by visionary, it is about looking at the world and seeing how fucked up it is at times and going, I can make it so much more beautiful. It can be so much better than this. And that's the thing that I love every day in my work, is the ability to look at the world and see its cruelty and its ugliness and to sit with it as a leader and go, God, the world can be such an awful place. You know, sitting there trying to talk people out of killing themselves, sitting there physically having to stop people from killing themselves. being on the phone with people wanting to kill themselves. You're sitting there and seeing the worst end of what humanity can do to people. And then you see the beautiful flip side of that, which are these extraordinary, resilient human beings and the beautiful people from the community that come and volunteer at my organization. And what connects all of us, how we have this movement of change, is that we are bound by a shared value. And we are bound by a shared mission and purpose. And it's real. Every day I start my day with my volunteers having that conversation about where are we going? What do we stand for? What are we aspiring to? What matters? Your leadership is going to be defined by where you put your time, your energy, and your words. That's what people will pick as what you prioritize. I make a point of a day of making sure the most simple thing of walking through my entire organization and just saying good morning to people. The importance of actually having a relationship with your people. The importance of actually talking in a way that is sincere and real. The importance of being in touch with what is happening on the ground in your organization. The importance that when things get difficult, that you don't compromise and take the easy way out. There's not a year that passes we don't struggle with how are we going to keep ourselves afloat? Are we going to be able to raise enough money? Dealing with an often demoralized community of people, and at times my own people. And I often sit there and say to people, we're here because it is so tough. We're here because it is so hard. Why would you want to be working in a space where it's easy? Why would you want to be working in a space where there are no great challenges for you? But if you're going to hold that space in the long term, in no particular order, these are probably the big takeaways from me over the last 25 years. 1, find a way to love yourself. Have love for yourself. Yeah? If you cannot hold on to a little bit of that for yourself, leadership is going to crush you. 2, forgive yourself. You are going to constantly be disappointing people because you are sitting there holding a space that no one else is going to see. That's what leaders do. They take everything that's happening here and go, here's where we're going next. 3, you've got to be able to bring people along with you. Communicate. Communication is not an event. It is a process. You need to keep communicating with your people. 4, the people that you work with, the people that you recruit, the people that you bring around you, make sure they share your values, your mission, your purpose. You can teach the brain anything, but you can't train the heart. Do not work with people. Do not recruit people who don't give a shit. Doesn't matter how good they look on paper, they will destroy your culture. 5, culture is everything. If I walk into your workplace, how do I see your culture? What is the culture that you're leading and shaping and nurturing and building? How do I see that culture? And I want to see that culture from the way a person is greeted at reception, no matter whether they are an asylum seeker coming off the street or whether they are the Premier of Victoria. I want to see the same compassion and respect and treatment. So what are the values? Where do I see integrity in your culture? Where do I see compassion? Where do I see you working as one team? Where do I see that holistic value of how you value and see the person? Where do I see your strength-based practice? 6, be passionate. Bugger being anything else. Be passionate. Be idealistic. Every time. The greatest failing of mine is my idealism. You will grow out of that, Kon. One day you will be cured of that. My social work lecturer saying to me, if we could just get rid of that fire in the belly, be idealistic. It's beautiful. Everything I've created and achieved is through idealism. You know what? People are jealous of such a thing because they look at you and go, but no, I've had to make all these compromises and I've had to make all these difficult choices for myself because there couldn't be another way, could it, Kon? And they're going to want to tear you down for it. 7, no, lots of people are going to try to tear you down. And when they do, stop and reflect and wonder, why are they trying to tear me down? Who goes into that place? And when they do, never sink there. There are going to be moments where people try to kneecap you, and I've had many of those. Never, ever, ever as a leader sink down to where your enemies are. You will never recover from that. It's in moments where doing the right thing is the most thankless and invisible task as a leader. That is the stuff that will hold you. The minute you drop that, you never recover from that. Never. 8, show empathy and compassion for the people that you work with. Treat them in the way that you claim that your organization or movement aspires to. You have to have integrity and consistency in the way in which you do that. 9, play. Play, play, play. Do fun things. I'm not doing enough of them at the moment, but when I have time, I'm usually doing massage, stand-up comedy, radio shows, trekking mountains. Seriously, do something for yourself. You have to be able to play. Do not take yourself too seriously. No one likes a martyr. You are shit company at a bar when you're sitting there going, but what about the refugees? Seriously, no one's going to want to be dating you, sleeping with you, or talking to you if you're a martyr. Play, play. Have fun. Have fun. 10, celebrate. You know, we've got, after this I was cooking last night for 300 people. We've got our end of year celebration for the refugees we work with. And it's a simple thing, which is about celebrate. Celebrate the fact that they're surviving, celebrating the fact that they're resilient, celebrating the fact that we're still standing. It's important to celebrate. When you're seeing that vision of where you want to go and how you want to change things, all along the path, there's going to be so many small steps around that. And what you've got to do is have a big vision strategically of what change looks like. So everything I ground myself in is the mistake we make is we let our structure in how we work drive our strategy and vision. And rather, it's our strategy and vision that drives everything else. So we start with, what does it look like? So for me, it is an Australia that welcomes and protects refugees. And refugees get to fulfill their extraordinary potential. That's where I want to be 10 years from now. And then I ask myself, right here and right now, what's everything we're going to do that's going to make that dream possible a decade from now? And does it reach that? Does it meet that? If it doesn't, why are we doing that? Because everything is finite, our time, our resources, our energy. But within that long journey, celebrate the small steps. Because when you're aspiring to something, whether it's ending global poverty or eradicating ill health in a country or bringing an end to the cruel treatment of refugees, you need to have lots of touchstones of success. And don't measure your success always in the epic. Because otherwise, between there and reality, that's a hard space. So it's important to take a moment to go, as I do with my staff and volunteers, that's beautiful. You've helped someone find a job. That's wonderful. That person's talking about how that welcome they got from the front desk was the first time someone smiled at them since they've come to Australia. Whatever that moment might be, cherish it. Make sure that you have a culture that cherishes every single beautiful moment of humanity and change. Transformative change as leaders is about taking something that seems so intractable and toxic and awful and unjust, and then building a space where everyone that intersects into that space, they get welcome, there's humanity at its best, there's compassion, there's possibility, there's creativity, there's excitement, there's risk, there's vision, there's messiness, and it's messy. Don't waste your time trying to figure it out. How am I going for time? 2 minutes? Don't waste your time trying to figure it out. The amount of people making a living as consultants, giving you, let's do this assessment and let's do this. Bullshit. Go out into any community you work with and go have a look. It's not complicated. How about just going and asking the people yourself? And then how about taking those people, as we're doing at our organization, a model that we call symbiotic innovation. That is, we're building our center, it's next generation, where it will be co-run with asylum seekers. And that's what we're doing right now, running it together and getting on with it. The amount of time you can waste planning and reflecting, there's not a place for it. But there's nothing greater than just getting on with having a crack and having a go and getting your hands dirty and trying it. And then trying it again, and then trying it again, and then trying it again. The one useful thing that business teaches you is that it's not afraid to take risks. You know, that old Japanese proverb, fall down 6 times, get up 7. I love that. Simple idea of do not be afraid to be messy. Do not be afraid to experiment. Do not be afraid to just get out there and have a go. You're not going to be able to figure this out in a textbook. You're not. You're not. Your education is useless in the real world. Hear me out. I hold 6 degrees, so I'm not saying it doesn't have a place. But it's useless in that if you think people are going to follow you because of your qualifications, or if you think you're going to inspire anything because I graduated from the University of Melbourne, it is not going to happen. You have to earn that. You have to earn that. You have to be willing to struggle. And the last thing I'll say, transformative leadership is hard work. You have to be willing to work hard, like you've never worked before. And you need to be resilient. You need to understand your resilience. You need to understand what is it that keeps you ticking when you just want to give up. And then when you want to give up, you need to make sure you've got a couple of things in place. 1, people around you that love you. 2, people around you in terms of friendships that get you. Do not surround yourself with people that are sitting there trying to pull you down or make you feel like a fool for what you're aspiring to. 3, you're going to need play. Make sure you've got things to balance your work. 4, you're going to need some perspective. And 5, you're going to need to love yourself, forgive yourself, and be gentle on yourself. You're going to make mistakes. But for all of the hardness of this space, I would trade it for nothing. In my last 10 seconds, I would trade it for nothing, because there is nothing more beautiful than taking the best of what is in here and going, I might actually create a little footprint in this world where the world is a little bit more just and more beautiful, more compassionate, because I took the best of what was in here and I didn't piss it away. There's no repeat button, no rewind button. This is it. Make it count. Really, really, really make it count. Do everything. Create everything. Aspire to everything you want to be. The only thing that stops us is imagination and fear. Love fear. It's telling you what you most want. And embrace your imagination. It's you at your best. Thank you.